Good evening. How are you? Well, today the ice on the road was a little treacherous, so I couldn't get out on the road and do anything about that. And I had to spend some time working. So here we are doing a sit and talk, and there are a couple of important things that I think you'll be interested in. You probably know about them. But let me start out. First of all, the appeals court said that the special counsel's report may be released, and that's a big move. That approves the dissemination of the president's involvement in trying to overthrow the decision that Biden had won with a fraudulent presentation, an insurrectionist to carry the day, but they failed. So that report will be released. The court has, however, this is the appellate court, has, however, allowed 3 days should Trump seek to take the Supreme Court on this issue and ask them to change it. Will that happen? I don't know. I think it might be difficult to expect them to, at this date, stop what has usually happened with special counsels, which means that they publish reports and the reports are then acted upon. So we'll see how that unfolds. But I think if I had to bet, notwithstanding the Supreme Court, notwithstanding the logical and persistent and correct attacks on this court as being biased and a little bit more prone to follow ideological and partisan preferences, I think even they will have to draw back from granting any relief should Trump seek it. The second thing that's up is that on Friday morning, the judge in the hush money case in Manhattan is going to go forward with sentencing. Another surprise from the Supreme Court, which makes us think that they might keep their powder dry on the question of the special counsel's report, is that they approved by a 5-4 margin the plea going forward, the sentencing going forward tomorrow morning. I'm speaking to you Thursday. So on Friday morning, the judge will consider the case and impose a sentence. I am opposed to imposing a sentence that doesn't actually have any teeth in it. I think a sentence is supposed to have teeth in it. It should be more than an inconvenience and perhaps less than something that's dreadful. I think a 4-year sentence is fine. I think anything else is a mistake, but I do accept the fact that as a result of what's happening tomorrow is that Trump will have been both found guilty and sentenced, and that decision will be final and will haunt him the whole rest of his life. Also, it will be a broadcast to the public as to what kind of person was elected to go into the White House and to occupy the West Wing again. I think that's pretty important. Now, here's a sad statement for the Republican Party. I believe it was today, Thursday or Wednesday, when 22 of 27 Republican governors came to Mar-a-Lago and spoke in support of Trump's agenda going forward. A dystopic atmosphere, if any other word applies, I don't know what it is. Now, at the same time, and I think this is why Trump has done some of his crazy shit, he runs around saying, oh, we should own Greenland and stuff like that. And I think he wants to be the kid stomping in the playground saying, I want it my way, and this is my ball, and this is the way it's going to happen, and this is the way it's going to be done. And I think this is how he tries to grab attention to himself on a daily basis. And this time he's especially desperate because Carter is in the news. And I think that's the only reason he went to the Carter Memorial. And it wouldn't surprise me if Michelle Obama stayed away because she didn't want to be anywhere, including in any church that Trump was in at the same time. The government wants to curb the EPA. Now I'm talking about the incoming Trump government wants to do that. They say this even as California homes are burning. Can you imagine that? These guys have no heart. They're inhumane. They're just a vacuous mess of green substances and evil smells and toxic implications. Now, It's also important, let's look broader than California. The Earth has had the hottest year ever in all recorded history in 2024. It went past 2.7 degrees Fahrenheit. This is significant, though it may sound low, it's significant because what we have is circulating fossil fuels that are killing our planet and killing us along with it. Some think of the Earth as Gaia, if you will, an aware, natural, sentient that gets even with us as we compromise the planet. Well, we'll see about that. The real question is, have we passed the tipping point in all our bad conduct? And are the fires in California going to look less outrageous in the months ahead and years ahead because we refuse to do anything? We refuse to do the right thing. We underwrite the company's their profit line by them not doing what they need to do, and we suffering with our health because of it. The Supreme Court is in a particularly dark place right now. And perhaps, I don't know if you remember the case. You're taught it in school, and some will remember it more than others. The Dred Scott decision. It was considered the worst decision of the Supreme Court. My question about that decision has always been, if we came to that decision today without the value of the history, in the sense of the delineation of no rights for African Americans, no citizenship for African Americans. They were property and they could be sold, even if they lived in a free state, as Missouri was, according to the Missouri Compromise. And the way the court got around that was they said the Missouri Compromise was itself unconstitutional. So this was said to be the worst decision. And it was said that, but if you go through the very long decision by Taney, T-A-N-E-Y, you'll see that step by step, they justified the decision in a fictional dance step that goes down the decades ever since as a stain upon our view that all persons are equal, entitled to equal justice before the law. Dred Scott didn't get that. Now, so you say, oh, well, we wouldn't do that today. Really? Would you really not do that? When you hear what we're saying, the anti-immigration, anti-migrants, the way Trump and his corrupt minions attack them, are we saying that the decisions currently are not like that? How about overcoming Roe v. Wade after it was a decision for 50 years? Is that an outrageous decision? I think so. Trying to take from a woman, all women, the right to be let alone, the privacy they enjoy and the dominion over their own body. So we have that. And how about immunity in this nation for a president for his acts? That's certainly not what the founding fathers thought when they wrote in these protections in the Constitution. But that is what the Supreme Court said. And we can go on and on about the complications of the Supreme Court members getting benefits from private persons with matters before the Supreme Court. I suppose it's a sad thing to say that the bookends we have for this week are that even a court, the Supreme Court, beholding to Trump, even they pause at stopping the special counsel's report on his efforts, Trump's efforts to overturn the election. And the Supreme Court says, and it shouldn't be surprising on a normal court, but in this court it is, they're saying, yes, there will be a sentencing tomorrow. What does the nation lack? The nation lacks conviction. It lacks a standard by which it performs. The nation lacks leaders who come forward and say these things. The nation, though it gives lip service to its concern about those who are losing a lifetime of habitation, the security of a home, perhaps being injured, and mementos lost. How inhumane can we be? Can we continue to foster the death of children as more important than the availability of firearms and military weapons? So we're at a crossroads, and I'm hopeful that Carter's memorial has reminded us of what a president can be after leaving office as a servant of the people. I think that the courts, even in their partisan nature, that had an opportunity to look at some of the current cases, even they had trouble doing what Trump wanted them to do. And Trump continues to be the loudmouth bully. Oh, sure, pick on Greenland, right? Attack Mexico. Talk about making Canada the 51st state. This is the kind of man that's going to be in the White House. Can we trust him to make measured judgment and things that we can look to and be proud of? No way. So the question is, survival? No, it can't be that. We have to fight back. And when I say fight back, I'm talking about the standards that made America memorable around the world and saw our growth from the limitations on what we promised in the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution, how we grew from that, how we overcame the Dred Scott decision before the Civil War, and how we overcame restrictions on being able to vote. So I leave you with these thoughts. Pardon for my wandering, and with any luck tomorrow I'll be out on a road that's not so slippery as to make me concerned about falling on my keister. So I hope you're well. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.